Okay, testing, testing. Hey, we're back. Okay. Now my mic settings defaulted back to something that wasn't the mic setting. Okay, I'm back, and now I am back with audio. Yeah, it's been an interesting 2 weeks. I was away at University of Victoria for what's called the Digital Humanities Summer Institute, which is basically 2 weeks where you can take courses, um, like an intensive 1 week long course on different subjects related to digital scholarship and digital humanities. So there are university professors and academics and graduate students, as well as librarians and people that work adjacent to the library system. Um, and yeah, so it was a lot of fun. It's basically what they call summer camp for librarians and academics. So we had a lot of fun. I did the first class I took was a class called Engaging Play, which basically was about computer games, video games as cultural objects and teaching tools. But we also got to write a game in Twine, which is my favorite. And so I wrote a game in Twine, which I will probably share on stream. I don't know. It's not terribly long at this point, but I think it's pretty entertaining. Yes, another one. This one, the goal was to write something that was actually completable, right? Because the last few have been really gigantic. This one, I think, will. I've already finished the first chapter of it. I envisioned about 3 chapters of it. And it's called The Last Librarian, and it takes place in the 1980s in the Northwest Territories, which is as far north as you can go before you get to the Arctic Circle, and imagines you as the player. You are the last librarian in this really remote region. You've been through a couple weeks of training. Now you've been left there to drive the bookmobile to the furthest points that you can get to. And so the first chapter is basically you arriving at the library warehouse parking lot early in the morning and having to make a series of decisions about how you spend your time and what you're doing to prepare for the trip. And then once you get out of once you've loaded the bookmobile and get ready to go, then the next chapter will start where you're actually out on the road. Then, of course, something horrible happens. The vehicle breaks down, and then it turns into a survival game about what you can take with you. So it's kind of ultimately an inventory management and survival thing. Not unlike The Long Dark, but much less complicated. But part of this will be the difficult choices about what books you take and what books you burn, right? Yeah. So there's a little bit about that, and then you have to try to get to your final destination. Um, yeah. So, anyways, that's the plan. You get more points the more books you deliver at the end, but books are the easiest thing to burn. So it's part of the anxiety of playing this game is like I always feel bad when I burn books, but at the same time I know that books are the best way to start a fire in the long dark. Yeah. Alright, so let's figure out what we're leaving behind here, since we obviously cannot take everything. Well, this was almost eaten up. Nothing left in that. No. Well, apparently there's... So we don't need to take... We're going to save these for later. I have a pop-up in the way. why is that showing? That shouldn't be showing. Ah. Alright. Sorry about that. I think that was from when we were showing off the random generator. So yeah, so we, for those of you who are catching up later on, we are doing You Know Nothing. All the fun of New York. Yay. And we know nothing because we actually don't know what random settings were attached to this particular run. We are guessing, but we don't know for certain. Do we need to carry all the coffee with us? No, we don't. It's not heavy, but it does take up space. And let's be honest. Those are trophies. We're not going to eat those. We'll set that aside. No, I didn't mean to eat it. I'm not going to make a dent because we're already full. We're at 40. Stuff we don't need. What won't we need? Oh, did we get to... I can't remember if we got to... Probably too early for far starting. Yeah, we're still early in this. We'll just take one of those. 40. We're close. I think if we drop the water... and the torches... and the sticks. Yeah, I think we'll be fine. We'll just drop a lot of sticks here. We'll just drop them all. Hey, EG, thanks for the sub. Yeah, Museum of Crackers. That is totally what we do. You got a concussion. Oh, no. Yeah, hopefully, other than that, things are fine. But, well, that's no fun. I am happy to report I am like 99% recovered from my lower back pain issue, and I did pick up a tiny bit of a cold while I was away. That always happens when you go to a conference. So I am recovering from a little bit of a cold, but mostly recovered at this point. Oh, once I'm recovered from the cold, then I think I'm fine. Hopefully. Okay, we're currently sitting at how many arrows? We got 1 arrow. Yay. I don't think we have a bow yet, though, right? Okay, we're super early. We don't have a bow yet. Okay. Joy. I'm trying to remember if we had figured out anything yet. No, I didn't make any notes. Okay. We should really get into the habit of making notes as we figure out things. I think, if I recall correctly, now it's been a couple weeks, but I believe we figured out that this is much like a couple other ones. The wildlife is passive. But yeah, I can't remember. Guess we'll find out as we adventure. See what we get. So I figured we want to get to the gold mine and we want to get to the summit. Are we ready for the cougar? We are not ready for the cougar. Astrid's not ready for a cougar. I am at least curious enough that I'm looking forward to being killed by a cougar at some point. I think the roll with it challenge will be sort of the challenge that gets most affected out of the things I do. Roll with it will be impacted the most by the cougar. Because in that challenge, we do stay a long time sometimes in regions. Likewise, I think the keg stand. AV is always doing the keg stand. Keg stand is going to get a lot harder if the cougar shows up after a certain amount of time. Yeah, exactly. If you get a 20, then suddenly... Or if we did like advanced, we did a super advanced version of Roll With It, where instead of it capping out at a D20, it went from a D20 to a D100. Imagine that. Roll with it, and you have to stay like 58 days, 100 days in a region. We do have stones with us, right? What is up? Do I not have any... Am I just an idiot? Like, don't have any weapons at all? Must be assuming that we don't need them. Clearly that was my thinking. Is that it's passive, so they're not going to come for me. So yeah, maybe introduce a different concept, which is basically like a budget for a set of combined, or like a combination of regions. That might make more sense for certain regions to have it set up that way. No, you would never get 58 days transfer pass. That is a transition zone, so... Yeah, you would be eating trees at that point. I don't think we've determined yet if we can make birch bark tea on this one. I've had 10 days in Transfer Pass before. That is not fun. 10 days there and 10 days back. Yeah. So the last librarian game that I put together, well, I was at the taking my classes as part of this conference thing. It is actually possible to die in the first area before you even leave, before you get out on the road. I did create a situation where it was possible for you to actually get injured and not get bandaged and then bleed out and die. But you would really, really have to make a conscious effort to avoid taking care of yourself, like keep delaying long enough. Now, that being said, it is still possible that if you don't bandage yourself, if you got injured and you didn't bandage yourself, you would bleed out on the road in the second chapter. And it is also possible to go into the second chapter and not have everything you need, and you just fail pretty quickly because of that. Another flare shell, isn't that? Okay, flare.
I think I can use this.
Why would we need that? Lots of flare shells, lots of matches. Definitely in the plentiful zone. Look at that, extra hacksaw. Oh, look at that, aviator camp.
I'm not going to be able to carry this load for much longer.
All right.
Perfect.
Need to make certain we have water for this trip, so let's do that. Okay, I think we're doing well here. Let's see. Aviator camp, good condition. 2 versus. Okay, so I'm going to talk about that.
barely walk with this much gear.
Okay, let's see. Let's break down. This one. There is a first aid kit in the game, which is both a practical reality and also a nod back to this game. Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, yeah. The main challenge is basically to go 50 days. Our current problem is we actually don't even know what our settings are. I have run the generator multiple times, like 6 or 7 times, and then punched in the settings into the custom run and produce codes, and then save the codes out in a separate file or a separate array. So I have a whole bunch of codes now that then we can randomly choose from the codes, and we won't even know what our settings are. We just punch in our setting, or punch in the code, and we don't look at the settings, and we start the run. So in this case, I actually don't know what my settings are. I can guess based on a couple things, but yeah. So I think, like, if I were to start this challenge over again, I'd probably make part of the challenge figuring out what the settings currently are. I think we might stay overnight here. Use up our sticks here. Yeah. Random settings leak and randomizer races. Step 1 is figuring out what has been randomized. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Another hatchet. Oh, I think we did figure out one thing. I think we figured out on this run that there are no wolves. Like there's a 0 wolf population. Which is why we're not carrying any stones. I think that's what it was. Yeah, the torches are less about, I guess, and if the weather is fine like it is right now, we probably don't need the torch.
I'm not going to be able to carry this load for much longer.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain we have no wolves at all. So 0 wolf population. So if that's the case, we really don't need the stones at all. Nothing we can do with those. And in the early part of the game, the weather will be pretty nice, so you're right, we probably don't need to carry around a torch. Unless we need the light. No, I don't really need this. I think we might have a sapling problem. I think that's the challenge. Because we have not seen saplings. I really wish I had put down some notes before I left. So now I can't remember exactly what it was we were looking for. But I think it's saplings. I think we're desperate for finding saplings so we can get the process going. We still need to get to a forge, but, I mean, we also need saplings desperately. Okay, so let's see, we got more firewood here. Okay, so we don't need that. Extra knife, we don't need 2 knives.
barely walk with this much gear.
Okay. Let's see what we can tear down and what we can fix. Okay, anything we need to prepare? This could use a touch-up. That's good for now. Everything else good for now.
This pack is getting too heavy to carry.
So next stop is going to be Ash Canyon. Go up to the gold mine. Then from the gold mine we go to the summit. Okay, things we don't need. Okay, arguably we don't need that too. Okay, let's see. And we just put it over with everything else. No, those are all extras. Okay, we just put stuff in here we don't need right now. Oh, I think we did figure out we want a toolbox just in case we have to repair a hacksaw. So we do want to take that with us. Possible we could find a bow on the way up, so probably keep the arrow just in case. It's like 25. Okay, let's figure out what's heavy. Okay. Shall we YOLO? Yeah, we're pretty warm. Gear-wise, we're really warm, so... It's not so much a YOLO. It's pretty obvious we were going to be fine. Okay, bright and early. We'll just head out there. Okay, well, on this foggy day, we'll read a poem.
I made it through another night.
Okay, let's see. Let's read a poem then. Read a poem, poem chooser. Do the Street Musician. Okay, we haven't read that in a while. This is from The Lost Country of Sight, my first book of poetry. Yeah, published by Enhinga Press, 2008. Winner of the 2007 Philip Levine Prize. Here's the poem, and then we'll give a little behind the poem afterwards. To the Street Musician. What rattles at the bottom of the voice raised against the cold is not a question of grace, nor an echo of storms burning in a street lamp's glare. Some nights all you have are fingers and old wood, blending steel and voice down an electric line to the heart. How you hold this six-string mystery close to your chest, unlock hands from neck, let the hollow frame fill, an old vessel of words burning slowly down. All night you travel in the ears of women in empty cars passing in the dark, wondering to themselves, how far is it to home? How far to the narrow bed, the open window, the quartered moon sinking like a hand across the fretted sky? So the inspiration for this was when I used to live in Glendale, California, and I would go downtown Glendale sometimes at night. I would find myself wanting to go for walks, and sometimes I would drive down to downtown Glendale in the early evening, and I'd walk around the neighborhood and just kind of absorb the sights and the sounds of the city. And one of the things that you would notice sometimes is there'd be people busking, and it wasn't like Santa Monica Pier. It wasn't like someplace where there were lots, or 3rd Street Promenade. It wasn't someplace where there were tons of people there. There'd just be one or two people busking. And I thought about like how, like in these less traveled spaces, you know, to hear the sound of someone playing music like that just kind of hangs in the air and haunts you as you go through the space. And I wondered about the people driving by as well. And so that I kind of imagined how this plays out. You know, a question about, I guess, the loneliness of living in big cities like this. And how like a song can rise out of like a small space and kind of travel all sorts of different places in the ears of those that are just passing by. I am very happy with that last image, which I honestly I stumbled on quite by accident as I was writing, and I just came to this image of the moon sinking like a hand across the fretted sky, as if it too were the hand of a guitarist moving through the sky, and the clouds kind of strung along, you know, cutting through what remains of the moon. Yeah, so I was very pleased with that. I was like, ooh, this feels really good. Where did that come from? Oh, I came up with that? That's pretty cool, right? So that's kind of how that one came about. I think a lot of the Lost Country of Sight has this weird juxtaposition between like these very urban landscape scenes, these spaces of very real moments that you would encounter if you're not in your car and just walking around the neighborhood instead. You know, combined with other things, like a lot of the book is also about being other places, whether it's Taiwan or it's Saskatchewan. And so whether it's like the intense big city or it's the barren open spaces of Saskatchewan, not so much barren, it's very fertile, but barren in the sense as empty, just there's not much to see, just the land and the sky. Yeah, and I think that even creeps into the second book, into Babbage's Dream. You know, some of the urban imagery, you know, of people living on the street. And I think a lot of the neighborhoods I lived in Los Angeles, I was in the habit of going for walks in the early evening or sometimes later in the evening, and you would just see a different side of the city, and you'd see people, regular people there, and their spots, and think about like the lives that people live that we only glimpse, you know, this particular moment of, and we see nothing of the life they lived up until that moment. So all the paths that converge in like that nighttime walk. So I think about that. You know, I was thinking a lot about that during the writing of those books. I guess I still think about that. I think about how, you know, that serendipity of how our paths cross in these interesting ways, and we only glimpse sort of the tip of the iceberg as to everyone's life that we meet, that we encounter. Ooh, it feels kind of deep. Anyways. Speaking about icebergs, okay, there's no iceberg here. How's our weather? 5. It's cold. Do we want to go out? We could wait like half an hour for the fog to burn off. I say for the fog to burn off. Didn't really burn off that much. Slightly warmer though. Alright. Will I regret not taking the flare gun with me? Should I take the flare gun? In case we run into a bear? Or should we just avoid the bear? Oh, let's just travel light. Yeah, so far the only thing we've seen have been deer. And the only thing we've determined is that wolves are extinct. There are no wolves in this run. Oh, we have seen rabbits. We have seen rabbits. See? Over there, there are rabbits. I do know that one of the random settings that's in the list of possible random settings that we might get. So I did like about 7, I think 6 or 7 that I ran the generator for and then punched in all the settings and got the codes. One of the codes I know has no... I think there's at least 2 that have no wolves, and one of them has no rabbits either. Like no rabbits? No rabbits is kind of an interesting problem. Because early game, you're kind of dependent on rabbits. Rabbits get you a hat. And they get you mitts. Well, I mean, it's one strategy, right? Like, some people like to kill the rabbits, you get the guts, you get the rabbit hides, and you can start making gear quickly. Renato Blay, welcome in as well. Oh, there is a bear. So no wolf, definitely bear. So, should I have brought the flare gun, or should I have not brought the flare gun? Should we take a nap in its cave? Is that a power move? Yeah, exactly. Right before a storm where he comes back. Yeah. Might not be a good idea. Yeah, no wolves makes this trip to AC super easy. No, we have no threats. As long as we don't bump into the moose, we'll be fine. I know, but I thought, do I carry the extra weight? Yeah, but I usually I usually have no problems getting to the... So yeah, if I go up to the summit, it's just for the summit. I mean, if I go up to the gold mine, it's just for the gold mine. I don't sidetrack and go visit the other part. Especially at this early stage, the goal is just really to get the benefit of the extra carry weight. So... yeah, and he is usually pretty straightforward to get around. As long as you don't run into him on the path. I think I've heard ptarmigans on this run. I don't believe there's a setting to turn them off, so... I think they're always around. Oh, you can turn them off for Dead World. Oh, I guess that makes sense if you want to turn off all the wildlife, yeah. It will follow you along and cross the bridge. Interesting. Okay, holler if you ever see any saplings, because we have not seen saplings at all. Storms are coming. Yeah, the weather's changing, so we really don't have time to dilly-dally here. No dilly-dally! No dilly-dally, Astrid. Gotta keep moving. "100 days. Interesting. Oh, the Hun did roll with it. Oh. I thought this was supposed to be fun, not like constantly hunted by the bear. Right. Not gonna worry, food is plentiful in the world. We do not have to get all the cattails. final TLD, final DLC region. It's Precipice Spire? I mean, it largely depends on. Yeah, there should be a story behind every name in every region. I'm going in the right direction. I get confused here. I feel like I'm headed in the wrong direction. I think I tried to take a shortcut and it made it worse. Yeah, we're okay. I think. Yeah. Yeah, definitely Perseverance Mills. That's been promised. So what do you think is going to be in the last region? Like, what type of region is it going to be? Yeah, I definitely think that the, you know, Perseverance Mills, Heavy Forest. For a minute there, I thought you had written down Happy Forest. I thought, yes, that would throw everyone for a loop if there was actually a cheerful, like Happy Little Trees. Oh, and then you find Happy Little Trees region. It's like, what? Yes, this is the Bob Ross region. Yeah. I've yet to get back and finish playing 4, but... I had my complaints about, what was it, 3? Less about storytelling and more about, like, the Timberwolves were really annoying. Really, really annoying. Some things felt very repetitive, and not in a good way. Like, this is not an enjoyable mechanic, so why do I have to keep replaying it?
I'm not gonna be able to carry this load for much longer.
Hunting knife. Let's see here. So what else we got here?
Well, this stuff will come in handy.
Oh, it's an extra car bar. Okay, what do we determine? We don't need an extra knife. We don't need to carry around an extra parka. We could make some more water, though. New type of affliction. Cougar fever. Heart palpitations? Yeah. Arrhythmia. Heart attack. The long spell. The long stink. Yeah.
I can barely walk with this much gear.
It's a little bit late in the day. And windy. Some sort of rot, right? Yeah. I'm gonna do some repairs. Early, but level up our mending skill. Okay. What else do we have? We have no books to read. We're not going to need 4. We can do 3.
This pack is getting too heavy to carry.
Okay. Nice. It should see here. If we want crampons, we need 4 pieces of metal. Where did I put that? We had some metal here.
I'm not going to be able to carry this load for much longer.
Oop. We don't really need to make them since we're going to find them. Okay, good enough. Makeshift pry bar. Interesting. Okay, we're on day 11. Bar starting's almost at 2. We're really not tired at all, are we? No. We don't need to carry around both these and those. We can just take the cat head. Okay, so it looks like we don't have access to birch bark tea. No recovery from birch bark. Yeah, I think we could rule out eternal light. Or eternal night, yeah. Well, there's certain settings I don't think I can ever figure out. Because it's very difficult to tell the difference between like low, I don't know, maybe it isn't. Very gusty right now. Yeah, some settings I will never be able to tell. Like, I can't tell what wolf fear is because there are no wolves. And the struggle bonus, things like that. Can't tell. I did think about making it a redeem so that certain aspects get revealed. Like, I have a document with the settings in it, and they're all blacked out. Like, the settings are blacked out, and if you redeem points that we reveal what that setting is. Reveal a random setting, so it's like reveal a setting and then we randomize which one it is. That might be funny. Oh boy.
This'll come in handy.
Actually, it won't. Not useful.
this anymore.
Okay, let's go through and eat some more. Yeah, it's so weird to just traipse through here without all the wolves. Normally, this would be a much more stressful section of the trip where you have to sneak around or bypass this pack of wolves that haunt this little area, but yeah, since the wolves are apparently not happening, we got no wolves this run, so then all we have to do is sneak by the non-existent wolves. Do you think I need a village with snow shelters? Is Astrid subsidizing her income by becoming a slumlord, and we're running a whole bunch of Airbnb snow shelters? If you build it, will they come? Yeah. Hey, what happened to our... Oh, we lost our, whatchamacallit. What happened to my other hat? I lost my aviator's cap. Wow. That sucks.
If I don't warm up soon.
That didn't work. Yeah, we'll have to check when we get back to the hut. Another hatchet? No, we don't. Yeah, we may have dumped it in a container. It's not the end of the world. We'll make it to this summit and be able to loot the plane, and I'm certain we'll find something else, another hat piece. That's true, we could have done that. Oh well. There'll be lots of other ones. I usually remember to do that for pry bars. I just sometimes forget to double check it for other things. Don't really need it. The thing I hate the most. Some place where we have to climb a rope, which means we have to dump everything.
I can barely walk with this much gear.
What else is here? Anything useful? Good guy. Yep. Pick up all this coal and we'll probably dump it because we don't actually need coal. I'm not cold. That's true. We could do it that way. Okay, we need to drop 10 pounds worth of stuff. Now we need to drop 7 pounds. What's the easiest thing to drop here? We already dropped all our torches earlier. It'd be nice if we had a container to drop stuff. So just drop all this. That'll do. Okay.
I wonder if I can drop any of this gear.
Hold on a second. I'm gonna boot someone here. Do-do. Alright. Got rid of the spammer. Okay, off we go. What do we got over here? Oh! Hello, Mr. Wolf.
I'll take it. pack is getting too heavy to carry.
Okay, we got guts and hide. It's actually going to be very hard to make a wolfskin coat. Takes 4 hides, and those wolf carcasses are pretty scattered. So most likely we'll end up abandoning the wolf hide and just take the guts with us. Plus, we already have warm enough gear. Then we don't have to scare off wolves if the wolves don't exist, so... Oh, that's the win condition. I have to have a wolf coat. Wow, this is going to be a long run then. That would actually be a pretty good challenge. Just like, it's interloper, custom interloper, and there are no wolves. And no timber wolves. And you win by making a wolf coat. It's the last wolf coat in Hinterland. In Great Bear. Only timber wolves. Oh. That feels somewhat punitive. Yeah. There's one that usually appears here. There's one that appears in Bleak. Where else would you find them? Is there one in HRV? Yeah, I was like thinking, I think there's one in HRV. Ooh. Huzzah! A sapling. These things are super rare on this run. Because I would totally expect to find a rainbow trout sitting up here.
Perfect.
Rainbow get. So where'd you find the fourth one? Or is that why you have to include Timberwolves, so that there is an option to find wolf carcasses in Black Rock? I guess so. Oh, saplings, okay. Yeah, so I think a wolf coat challenge would be an interesting one. You could do the equivalent with the... could you do one with the bear? You can't do one with the bear. There's no bear carcass anywhere. Oh, you could also get a wolf pelt out of the summit. That's a good question. Are the Timberwolves off? Don't know. We haven't been anywhere to check. Yeah, it is possible to find a bear coat, but could you find 2 bear hides if the bears are off? I don't think so. Ooh, more saplings. Look at that. So I think we'll finish tonight's session by getting to the gold mine. I don't get why there are complimentary matches everywhere. It just feels weird. But... Huzzah, you crossed the bridge. Here's matches. Souvenir. Yeah, we do have a really high level. which is why those show up, and there are ropes everywhere and tools everywhere. Our fish is heavy. We need to eat that soon. Cook that just so we can get the cooking benefit.
I think I can use this.
Well, I guess we're going up. Oh, look at this stash of stuff.
Well, this stuff will come in handy.
Snow pants, even. Don't need the rest of that. True, they are lighter torches. Ooh. Okay. Final stretch. There's our cave, and then we have our plateau, and then our climb down, which we're going to goat. And then we're going to wrap up for the night, I think. Oh. Yep, back to work tomorrow. Do we bring the rope there? We're not coming back that way. Often there's more saplings up here. See, we see another sapling. The last climb down from the gold mine. Oh yeah, yeah. I've stayed there before, yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah. Although right now we're probably fine for saplings. We've got 2 and 2. Use more birch. But with the loot being high, our chances of finding some arrows in the world increase. And we already have a number of arrowheads just from found arrowheads, so...
Don't feel so good.
Nope. I left all the conditions on. Oh, this isn't the usual place I come down. Oh well, this works too. Look, even more saplings. Bro, we're gonna be fine for saplings. Oh, I think the first thing I'm going to do tomorrow morning is go for a haircut. My back and sides are getting all shaggy now.
This'll come in handy.
Ooh. Yep, just about bedtime for me. About bedtime for Astrid. So yesterday I got the chance to have a Zoom meeting with a couple people who are also looking for an apartment for this fall. So the three of us are kind of pooling our resources and looking at 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom places. So we'll see how that plans out. But the other two are both PhD students, so. Which means that they'll be around for a while. I've got another year, maybe a year and a half, depending on how courses pan out. There's always a struggle to get the courses you need. Now, yeah, let's see which X is the better X. We have the better X. We're almost there. Okay, so let's go. At the very least, we should cook our meat so it's not as heavy.
Probably useful.
Ah.
Come on, little fire. Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Okay, fur is the heaviest. Let's just get rid of these guys. Okay, let's drop down everything we think we can cure. Okay, we are done for the night. D12. Better than nothing. Snow pants are here now. Question is, do we want them? Combat pants are nice and light. Work pants are 1.5. These are lighter. Slower, but lighter. $26 now. Okay, let's see here. Well, I wonder if we could wear these. Bet you we can.
Ah!
Oh, turns out that's a bad idea. Turns out they're not as waterproof as they're supposed to be. They really should fix that. That should actually be waterproof.
Never know. Could end up being useful.
Hey, Mama Classy, welcome in. Welcome in, Raiders. Those of you new to this channel, I'm Babbaginator. I stream The Long Dark most nights. We're back after a 2-week break. And we're currently doing a challenge. Let's see if the challenge is showing up here. Yeah, you know nothing. Basically, we... a few weeks back, I was bored and I wrote a a random generator to randomize the settings for a custom run. And so yeah, the next step, of course, was that after we did one run with the completely random settings, which we knew, like we punch them in. This time we're doing one where we don't know. We just get the code.
Damn, that was hard. Someone clip that, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, so doing well. We are... So this is a... this is a challenge in which we have everything is randomized, and we have not looked. We've only looked at the code. We haven't looked at the actual settings, so we don't know what we have. So far, we've been able to determine that there are no wolves on this run, and that loot is set to high, but saplings are set to low. Like, yeah, so if you want to give it a try, you can just use the link there. It'll give you access to the generator, and then you just basically run it, and then just apply the settings in. Or if you're lazy and you want a real challenge, I don't know if it's lazy or... If you're lazy and you don't want to punch in a bunch of settings, or you're really up for a real gamble, just use the code at the bottom, which is not related to the rest of the settings. It is part of... I have run the generator multiple times and punched in the settings, gotten the codes, and then I put the codes into a list that it randomly chooses from. So some of them have no wolves, some of them have no rabbits and no deer, some of them have like really hard settings that are worse than interloper. It's a complete crapshoot. You have no idea what you're going to get. Some of them don't look that bad, and then after a while you realize, oh, this is actually strangely difficult. I can't figure out why it feels so difficult, but it does feel difficult. Okay, so we made it here. Oh, we need to put on our wet socks. You know, it turns out that these guys are not actually waterproof. Go figure. Maybe we'll have to stay here and warm up our socks a little bit. But yeah, you're welcome to give it a try. Do some variation on it. Let's see here. What do we want to do? Okay. Yeah, I think this is what we're doing. We're going to drop these guys. And we're going to drop our wet boots and socks. And we're going to just start a fire here. Yeah, it's the challenge is nice because sometimes you get a relatively pilgrim-like experience with some odd twist.
Why didn't that work?
So yeah, this one has no wolves. That's one of the weird ones. I think it's passive wildlife. I'm not positive, but we have no wolves.
Come on, little fire. Come on.
And saplings have been... We had some difficulty finding saplings, but we're finally finding like a bunch of saplings, so we're fine there. Okay, those are dry.
I'm not going to be able to carry this load for much longer.
Okay. What's the plan? What are we going to do here? Okay. It looks like we'll go for a few minutes longer. We are going to get to the exit here, and then we'll probably just save. We'll do the in and out save. Oh. Okay, so we're almost out of here. Okay, we are on day 12. Hey, Kimiota! Oh, now I feel really bad about wanting to wrap up the stream. Okay, we'll go a little further. How's the run going? It's going pretty well. I was just explaining that it's we'll do a shout out. And
I'm not gonna take these saplings. Oh. Damn. Why can't I resist the saplings? I don't know.
I don't know if we'll make it another hour. I'm pretty tired, but maybe we'll go for another half an hour. So we're doing a completely randomized run. So I wrote a random generator for custom settings. So all our custom settings are randomized. And furthermore, I ran this a few times and saved the codes for about 6 or 7 different ones and put them into a separate list and then randomly chose one of those. So the code we're running right now is for a set of settings that I don't know. So we are figuring it out as we go along. Thus far, we have determined that it is... we are doing a run in which there are no wolves. We don't know about Timberwolves yet, but there are no wolves. Loot is relatively high. In some of our early regions, it looked like saplings were low, but I'm revising that. I think saplings are actually probably medium, because they're showing up a lot now. We have not been to Forge yet. We've been finding enough arrows and arrowheads that we should be able to, and we even found a bow just recently, so we may be able to put off doing the forge for a little bit. Okay, so now we got our problem here. We're at 53, we're 13 over, so our first, let's see here, we'll drink and drop. I mean, we could try to goat, but that would be silly. So we're gonna drop all our water, and drop a certain number of these. We're not really that dependent on these right now. These are good torches, though. That's the sad part. Don't need that. Need an extra one of those. How close are we now? 44. I think we drop 4 more. Don't really need that much coal. I'm gonna get more coal later. Okay, now we can just drop another torch. Okay, good enough. Yeah, drink and drop. Without a bookcase? Yeah, I know, it's sad, but them's the breaks.
Nobody needs this anymore.
We don't need that either. Okay, rock and roll. Well, that's just going to be trouble, isn't it?
Man, this pack is getting kind of heavy.
I think this is the one that we could goat down if we wanted to. How far off are we? 1 and 2. That's already filled. Water torch? We actually don't really need the torch. You know what? We're gonna skip this. We've got so many matches, it's not really an issue. So close. I'm actually kind of relieved there isn't a cashier, because then there'd be more stuff to make decisions about. There we go. So yeah, it's kind of strange to play a run where you discover there are no wolves. So like coming to Ash Canyon was relatively stress-free. We did see a bear, so we know the bear's around. We didn't bring our flare gun with us, so we missed the opportunity to hunt a bear. But honestly, gear-wise, we're pretty good. We had an aviator's cap, and I think I accidentally left that behind somewhere. Oh, and look at us wandering around with... That would have been a much easier climb, right? If I had put my feet on. Look at that. Forget my shoes. That was great. Barefoot climb down. Yeah. So some of these random runs have no rabbits and no deer, which makes me wonder how that's going to be to survive. This one, so I want to just confirm this, but I suspect that we have no... Yeah. We have no birch bark tea, so there's no condition recovery from birch bark. So it's only good for kindling then. Oops, where are we at here? 15. I say we make it back to... I don't know. We could do either. We could go make a stop back at... I can't remember if I left anything important behind. At Angler's Den. Maybe we'll just check a peek and see if there's anything we need. Well, I mean, we could figure out if there's anything we need, right? So, so this doesn't make a difference since we can't actually make tea. We have Maglins. Maglins and Striker? No, just Maglins. Plenty of this stuff. We have all our clothing. I think we brought all our gear with us, so we left the pry bar back at Mountaineers. We need to make some more torches eventually. All this stuff to clear. So I don't think there's a point for us to going back. Let's just march forward until we get to the cave towards the summit. And that's where we'll wrap up. We'll finish up in a different cave.
I'm not sure I can carry much more.
Got enough stems? Yeah, we do actually. So many stems, we might use them for climbing if we need to. We also have a ton of coffee, most of which we left back at the Prepper's Cache bunker at the base of, before you go into Timberwolf Mountain. So, yeah. So we have a bow and we have one arrow. But we still have lots of ropes to climb on the way to Timberwolf Mountain Summit. For a wolf, there's no wolves. Maybe a Timberwolf, right? I don't know if we'll go to Black Rock on this challenge. I mean, that's been suggested, right? That we try to get a wolf coat, even though there are no wolves in the world. We'd have to find all the carcasses and harvest them. Yeah, at that point you're doing Dead World, right? So actually, I wonder what the baseline resource level is for Dead World. I can't remember. I mean, is it possible? I mean, I guess you could make a challenge that is harder. No starting clothing, really. No real clothing in the world, and it's just find carcasses, harvest, and make all your clothes. Okay. Okay, so I think we're going to wrap up here. We're on day 13. What's our goal here to do? Climb to summit. Loot. Ooh. Okay, so what do we know so far? No wolves. Acid wildlife. Baseline. I think we figured out it's probably medium starting gear. Yeah. Oh, and no birch bark. Yeah. Yeah. We'll have to test for that one. Maybe. We'll see. Yeah, so I think that's that much we know. Okay. And let's see, 13 days. That's saved. Okay, so we're going to wrap up with, as we always do, wrap up with a poem. And let's see what we get here. Object. So this comes from the second book of poetry, my second book, called Babbage's Dream, published by Sundress Publications in 2017. This is from a series of poems that takes their inspiration from programming terms. And so this object refers to object-oriented programming and the idea of classes, which basically contain attributes, methods, and instructions for the initialization and destruction of the instance of the class. Complicated way to say that an object is something that is a data structure that contains information as well as methods for dealing with the information. And the goal is, rather than writing code external to the object, you just tell the object to do things to itself. And pass information in, and then have it printed out, or send it out, or manipulate it in some way. Object. We are, after all, obsessed with structure, with the simple refusal of chaos, the rise of a universe ordered by one's own hand. We know the secret, that everything descends from something else, evolving one method at a time, holding within itself a little dream, a little script of what is to be said and done at the beginning and at the end. Buried in our hearts a mechanic's delight in fitting things together, the elegant marriage of form to function. Here we write and inscribe our will into a reasonable architecture made intelligent by craft. How it hums, this thoughtful world of intersecting lines, an elaborate web, the scarce-heard symphony of crystalline spheres, whatever speaks to the perfection of an idea and how it resonates across a page of memory. Like all imaginary kingdoms, it will fall. Someone always arrives, descending from the floors above, clipboard in hand, to ravage it, to unravel what we have spent weeks weaving together. And we will sit wordless in ourselves, without a thing to say in response. Bare, undone, our hands opening and closing in fists, while their lips moo and their voices drone like locusts wheeling overhead, like the sound of calamity and ruin, like barbarians calling at our gates. So the last part of the poem is a reference to something that happened when I was working in the computer games industry, and I had on my team a wonderful programmer who was very, very much OCD. We had two of these guys that were really OCD. If you're not OCD when you enter into the programming career, you will probably develop OCD tendencies while you're there, and perhaps that will linger afterwards. It's just you get into this very obsessive compulsive mindset for doing things. But anyways, there's one programmer who's a good friend of mine. He was obsessed with building perfectly structured, object-oriented code to implement this particular game that we were working on. And for his particular module in it, he did it all really cleanly, very, very pristine. It took him forever. He was a tendency to over-obsess and drag things out, but it was all perfect. And then, of course, some executive producer comes downstairs from a couple floors up and announces that they've decided to change something fairly fundamental to the design. And they say, it's all we want is to be able to do this thing here. And it's like a fundamental change to the design. And so the poor guy just got his stares. And you could see he's absolutely seething in rage that they've just changed something fundamental that will basically gut the entire carefully planned, carefully architected, object-oriented structure and require him to introduce code and techniques that violate fundamental principles of how things are supposed to be separated out just for the sake of delivering this thing on time. And oh boy, was he not happy. It was like not happy at all. I was like, Matt, that's, yeah, I get it, but we're not building perfect code. We're building code that delivers. And sometimes we just gotta bend. But it was, it's definitely frustrating at times. There's an art to really good code, and unfortunately, we rarely get to execute that really good code when we're working in an industry that is obsessed with deadlines and delivery, and the next best thing as quickly as possible by any means necessary. So yeah, that's kind of Matt's story and our story. Yeah. In any case, thanks for hanging out with us. If you want to learn more about the poetry side of things, you can check out Babbage's Dream. Read up more about that book and where you can find it. But we're gonna find someone to raid, and we'll wrap up for the night. But so like things that we know we are at day 13, so we've made it 4 days longer. We did find another cracker box. Look at us, we're rocking and rolling. And yeah, so let's see. There will never be wolves in this run. That's kind of weird. Okay, so let's figure out who we can go raid. So we got Deadpool. Tormuse. Is Tormuse still running? Yeah, maybe we'll... Okay, let's go support our friend Tormuse. Okay, let's set up this raid. We're going to visit Tormuse. Thanks, Kimiota. Thanks, Ichi. Thank you, Roller. And thank you for Mama Classy, Kane, everyone else that came in on the raid and hanging out for now. We will be back again tomorrow night is the plan. I have a meeting with my composer earlier in the evening. I hope to be done fairly quickly and be able to drop in the usual time. If not, I might be half an hour late. So, but other than that, it's all good. We will be back most of the week. No stream Tuesday nights and no streams on Sunday nights. Okay. Other than that, should be on as always. Take care, and we'll see you all soon.